Modern Christian art has always been somewhat off-putting to me, and I wanted to think about why. And I've come to two reasons that I think really come to it. And so, the first one, I think, would be excess of mercy, I guess. Because when we buy, for example, like a consumer product, like a shirt, we buy it, or, well, not me, but people who buy it, oftentimes it is, I am buying a Christian thing. So it's almost as if not buying it feels, it's not like I'm rejecting the product itself, this iteration. I'm rejecting what it symbolizes, which is the faith in Christianity. And so I have to buy it, you know. And though I myself haven't ever bought consumer Christian products, I've been in places where they sell them, and there is a feeling of guilt at not buying, because it's like people spent their time making this. You want to support those people who made this piece of art, this craft. But you shouldn't buy a piece of craftsmanship because otherwise you feel bad about the person who made it. It's like, aw. Because of this, there lacks a kind of filtering system, whereas the people who are subpar and not good enough aren't forced to like stop or and so bad craftsmen continue having the ability to be craftsmen, as people don't refuse to buy their craft if it isn't good enough. They never have to get like hit with reality. Because if you make something and you're like, oh, this is good, and then you see that people don't. If you make something and you think this is good, and then put it out like a video or a cake, and then people don't watch that video, and you have to think to yourself, I thought it was good enough to work and just get people to watch. And so it does feel bad, because you've been faced with reality, and you realize that you're not as great as you crack yourself out to be. And so you have to think about it and see how you can improve, and think of different techniques you can use. Perhaps your editing is schizophrenic. Perhaps your cake is too sweet. Perhaps your product, your shirt, is just letters on a shirt. Yeah, and so I do pity the craftsman who doesn't get to go through this process that he was supposed to go on. So it's not really his fault. Now, so far I've only really spoken on consumer products, and really that's not completely of necessity. What matters most is what's in the church. It's the aesthetics and architecture and the music. I'd argue the music is more important by a significant amount. And I find the modern church music is not it. And this especially bothers me because religious music is my favorite kind of music. I like all sorts of religious music. I like Latin chants. I like Norse chants. I like. But what I like about these kinds of music is that they have a tradition behind them, or that's like, it doesn't feel baseless. It's not about the individual song. It's about or the stuff, the kind of music, and they don't. And this leads to my second. Yeah, this leads to my second point about individualism. Our art is too individual, or religious art. Before it was not. Now it is. There's like pop, there's rock, and it's like, I get how someone could like rock or pop, and on occasion there are songs of those genres I like, but it's not universal. It's of the day. And so if you're going to bring people, of all sorts of attitudes and dispositions, there's some people who are gonna appreciate it, but large amount of people are gonna be left out. And really, it's easier to degrade when there's not some set standard. Like in the church, we're gonna have like traditional Latin music. I do see why someone would have issues with having only Latin church. Wait. Oh yeah, but you can have English music set in a tradition. And at my church, there's a mass. It's in English, but it uses the Latin tradition for music. And that's nice. Not as good as Ukrainian Catholic, but it doesn't hurt my soul. It adds to it as opposed to taking, which is always nice. Hot take. I think I prefer English to Latin. I prefer English because, I don't know, but, and perhaps an issue with Christian modern music is that there's not much feedback. They sing and it's like, it would feel weird as someone attending the church to go to the people singing and be like, I kind of don't like this. That would just feel really impolite. And people are very non-confrontational. Oop. Sorry for such confrontation I made. Yes, I am one of those people. And thus, I think church music is too individualistic. And feels this song is made individual, person to person, as opposed to God to group. Or, or choir group to group choir to group. It should be a choir, or else it's the person singing has a spotlight on them. It's like, I am the person leading this, and it's just me with other people doing instruments, and there's something off about that feels it's too much of a show, and it distracts from what you're supposed to do, which is pray, glorify God. Like, why would you have rock music? Rock is inherently rebellious. Isn't that insane that in a mass in church you have rock music? You as a Christian are not supposed to be rebelling. You're here to obey as a sheep. And and rock is not about being an obedient sheep. It's just, and if you think that what the genre is can be separated from individual songs, the genre, I think you're mad. You've gone mad. And I have been pretty harsh on modern Christian music, and it's all been because of Vatican II the Second Vatican Council and the Novus Order, but English is my favorite language. As I think about it, perhaps a better way to refer to my individualistic issue is that it doesn't have a tradition, and when you don't have a tradition, degradation is very easy, and so it happens within like 80 years, it's all dead. Is that kind of sad? You can have something being built over thousands of years, and then it just gets destroyed in 1 century. And then now what do? We don't know. How do we respond to modernity having taken away our traditions? How do we build new traditions? I mean, we can't really just turn the clock back and go back to the 13th century. We got how do we move forward to a post-enlightenment, post-modernity Christianity? I don't think I have that answer. That's it for today. Cheers.